Hey guys, welcome back to Home Built, and this week it's all about that rear end. So as you saw last week, I was grinding the edges of these pieces back, getting them ready to mount them all up. Now it's a matter of bolting it all into place, getting exactly where I want it, and then welding it all up to be one piece and fill up all these holes and finish off this bumper. Okay, so I have this bumper mounted up, and this is what I'm dealing with. You can see over on this side here, it's touching, so this mount is too close because it actually touches the body here, and obviously that's when it's all painted up, it's going to scratch. But then also you can see that this end sits too far forward. So, but the line here is pretty good. So the height-wise, it's good, but it's sitting too far forward. So I'm going to have to bend this mount in here and get it so it sits away from the body a little bit more. But if you follow the body line along, you can see here it sits off a bit. That probably needs to be tightened up this way a little bit more, because you can see here that this line is not as good. This is sitting too high on this side, and it's not sitting nicely with the line of the body, and it's a little bit short on that end, maybe close but not quite perfect. I want it spot on. So it's a matter of adjusting these mounts and getting them just the right spot before I weld it all together. So this needs to come closer to the body, other side has to come away, so there's a little bit of fettling, and we should get it looking good. All right, that is much better. It's a nice tight line all the way around, nice even gap. Same on this side, nice even gap all the way around. But now I've noticed is, I'm not sure if you can see, but on this, it's just along here, that is higher than it is there. It actually, the bar sort of twists and bends up. So I'm going to pull it all off, and I'm going to try and straighten it all out and get it all looking nice and gun barrel straight all the way along. Let's see how that goes. All right, that was a lot of bashing and shaping to try and get this right. This top edge was warped slightly, which wasn't too difficult to get straight. The main issue was there was a big dent around here where this whole thing was sort of twisted around. So I had to actually spend a lot of time trying to bend it back. And because it's much thicker than the usual sheet metal, it takes a lot of bashing. It's a lot stronger than what I'm used to. So yeah, it took a fair bit to get it back into shape, but I'm pretty happy with that now. It's not perfect, but with a bit of high-field primer and a sand, I'm pretty confident it'll come out nice and flat. And okay, so now I can bolt it on finally, make sure it all fits, and then I can move on. Well, that was a bit of work, but it's pulled off, so it's nice spacing all the way along, nice gap all the way along the edge. And again, nice gap, nice spacing all the way around. So I am finally happy with that, and if we sit back and have a look, it's sitting nice and flat. It is, it's pretty good. It's a lot better than it was. So I think it's time to actually weld it up into one piece. That's where I want it. That's where it's going to stay forever. All right. All right, that's all welded up. You can see that's, I'm quite happy with that weld. That's quite nice and neat and tidy. Not quite as tidy down this face, but it'll do the job. And over this side, same, little wobbly, but plenty of bite in that, I think. So now we have a one-piece bumper. I'm going to let it cool down for a bit, and then we can start filling in all these holes along the back. So while I wait for the rear bar to cool down, I've taken the wing back off, and I'm going to go and hit it again. Some of these gaps on the back, just try and use some fiberglass body filler in these to try and tidy it all up and get it all looking nice and neat. All right, this has had some time to cool down. It's still sitting in place nicely, so time to pull it off so I can finish it up. All right, moving on. My next challenge is to try and tidy up this rear end of the car and get it completely ready for paint. So, you know, there's a repair here that I've got to do some body filler on. A lot of it looks pretty good. Just tidy it up. You know, there's a low there, there's another low there, and this bottom edge is pretty mangled. So I'm going to go along and do a little bit more panel beating on this bottom edge and see if I can straighten it out a bit more, and then put a light skim of body filler over it all, and then hopefully we'll get the rear end sorted. So while I wait for that body filler to set up, I'm going to go through and grind up my holes and start welding up the holes on this bar. Alright guys, sorry about the noise. They're doing some tree trimming across the street, but bear with me. I've gone through and I have welded up all the holes now, and also this wing is set, so it's time to grind back some of these holes and give the wing a bit of a sand, sort of do a bit of tidying up down this end. And while I'm waiting for the last little skim of body filler on the back of the car to set up. Alright, so the back end here is now all nice and smooth and clean. It's looking great, and this bar is all welded up, no more holes, hopefully nice and straight. So I'm just going to bolt it up one more time just to make sure it all fits perfectly, and then I can say the back end is good. Well, that is looking really good. The bar's sitting on nice and straight and even. It's mounts on nicely. There's a nice gap all the way around. The back end is all finished up, looking nice and neat and tidy. So it's a lot of work doing these fiddly little bits, and unfortunately, body filler is not the most exciting of things to film, but it's all got to be done. It's all moving towards getting this thing all finished up. So anyway, I'm out of time today, so that means it's time for Fun Facts with Mrs. Jeff.
Hey guys, the 240Z made its debut into the East African Safari Rally in 1971. 38 Datsuns were entered into the event, most of them being 510s. It was a fantastic finish for a Datsun, with 240Zs finishing in 1st, 2nd and 7th place, and 6 510s also crossing the line out of 32 finishes. In 1972, the lead 240Z broke 2 half shafts, but still managed to come in 5th. 2 more Zs came in 6th and 10th, and 40 of the 86 entries were Datsuns. 1973 saw the 240Z back on top, with Bluebird Triple S's coming in 2nd and 4th, and half of the 18 finishes were Datsuns.
Alright guys, that's it for another week. Body filler is not the most exciting of episodes, but it's got to be done and it's all chipping away. I'm happy that the rear end is looking good. And everybody likes a nice rear end. So, as always, if you enjoy the videos and you want to help out the channel, head down to the store. You can pick up some shirts, hoodies or coffee mugs. Please like and subscribe to Home Built by Jeff, and you can follow me on Facebook and Instagram at the same place. See you guys.
Of the 85 entrants for Datsuns. Of the 85 entrants. 85 entries were Datsuns. Of the 85 entries were Datsuns.
What is wrong with you?